behind my soapbox. My microphone was off, and thank God I don't need a lawsuit today. 1026, a little bit of change. Oh my God, I was ready.
I feel you. I get there too.
We'll leave that off the record. Hey, Tara, you and I have talked to Taralei. You and I have talked about this, a couple of times, and this is one of the things that I will never speak quiet about, and that's Last Prisoner Project. I just wanted to kind of throw out this while we were just coming back from break.
Yeah.
The Last Prisoner Project, for all of you who don't know, national nonpartisan nonprofit dedicated to reforming criminal justice through progressive drug policy. What's that mean? Well, a lot of people were thrown in prison for dime bags of pot when they shouldn't have been. And Tara, before we go into what you're working on, listen to this. 15.7 million people have been arrested for marijuana offenses over the past 2 decades. 47 billion spent annually for the United States war on drugs, and $32.2 billion. That's the legal cannabis market size in 2022. So Last Prisoner Project still working, and it's amazing because folks don't realize even though states are legalizing, people are still in jail for this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's even like, there have been a couple times now. I think the most recent was October where President Biden has passed, said he's giving out pardons.
Yeah.
But those aren't even releasing people from prison. They're not affecting people. They're not helping the people who have been, displaced or are unable to get work now because they've got these charges on their background for a plant.
Yeah, pretty much.
A plant.
Yeah,
a
you're
healing
right.
plant.
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
And now, what are you working on when it comes to this photography? Because you're a pretty talented photographer, from what I'm understanding.
Thank you. Yeah. So I've done a lot of photography work over the years. When I started as a journalist, really it started when I was living in Nashville and covering artists.
Well, you were doing some real stuff in Nashville too.
Yeah,
that was wild.
Yeah, but I started before I even got into the political stuff.
Really?
I started just covering the indie pop and hip hop scene in Nashville.
No way.
So,
is it pretty lively down there?
Oh yeah, it was. I can't speak to it so much right now.
Right.
I've been back here for. Oh my God, is it 5 years this year? 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 years.
Wow.
So February will be 5 years that I've been living back in the area. I was in Nashville for a little more than 7.5. And I honestly, I think I interviewed one country musician in all my years of covering musicians there. And most of the time, though, it was like the underground pop and hip hop scene.
So before we talk about photography.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we have time to play with.
Yeah.
I did not realize that there was basically a huddle of country music writers in Nashville, and that none of them ever get talked about. They just ship their songs off to all the big names. I didn't realize that's how it worked.
Yeah.
I really didn't.
I think that's, until you're actually in those spaces, you don't really realize how it all works and
so
how much all the artists do kind of work together at different points and all, but
it's
on levels that you wouldn't realize. Yeah. But so I started really getting into photography that way by shooting concerts just to go with my my articles. So I'd bring my little, at that point I had, a little purple digital
little Sony action.
Yeah, I think it was a Sony. It was a little oh my gosh. And so I'd whip that out of my pocket. This was even pre-iPhone, all right? This was I didn't even...
You had the razor in your purse and the damn Sony.
Yeah. Well, no, I was weird. I didn't have a razor. I had the Juke.
No
Do you remember
way,
those?
yes.
They were the little MP3 players that then flipped out like a switchblade.
Yes. Oh my goodness, I love it. I went from Razor to Nokia.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Tank. All right, sorry.
No, it's okay. But so I do a lot of photography. Since I've been back in the past year, I've been doing photography like that again, shooting concerts at the Conservatory, and I was hired to. I saw you when I was photographing the Earth Tones Festival and everything, and so that's and a lot of my stuff aside from the photographing concerts and events. I also with my journalism when I was in it was all very people focused, very storytelling,
Yeah.
you know, helping people share their stories. So that's what I think that's kind of what we're building up to here.
Yeah.
So I am starting this photography project. I've already done a couple shoots, but the purpose is to kind of help in the stigma. You know, so for me, I've realized I've kind of been in a little bubble. You know, like a lot of the people around me are very open about cannabis and very friendly to it. And, but like when I step outside that, when I'm around my aunt and uncle, when I'm around other people, they're not as, you know, it's like suddenly I'll be talking the way I would around my friends about like lighting up a joint or something. And people are like, should she be saying this right now? Like, you know, so I think, you know, through that, and then just the fact that, you know, what the Last Prisoner Project focuses on, all the people still in prison, all the people still getting arrested, even in legal states, for just possessing a little bit of this plant. You know, it's ridiculous, especially when so many, you know, like I can post photos online of myself smoking and I'm not going to get in trouble because I'm...
Well, no, and that's another thing, because what people don't realize is that even though it's legal in Illinois, let's say that you're going to your, you know, wherever you're going, let's say you're going to a picnic and you don't want to bring your whole container of stuff, so you put it in a little Ziploc bag and you go, you get pulled over, you don't have a barcode, and even if you do, if it's opened, you're getting popped.
Yep.
And, you know, I'm not saying, I just don't think that's right. I really don't. I think that it's like open container of alcohol at that point, you get a slap on the wrist and you pay a little fine and you move on. There shouldn't be any misdemeanor.
Right.
Yeah.
No. People should not be having their lives ruined over this healing plant. So that's kind of my goal. I'm going to be starting this photography project because, too, like one of the things is I feel like there's such a strange, is this the right word, like dissonance? Because like with the sheer amount of people in this area who do rely on it even to get through their day, you know, whether it's medically or...
well, even recreationally, just to kind of deal with stuff.
Right, just to unwind in the evenings. But then there's still so many people who are like scared of it and don't understand. And so I feel like if people saw just how many people in this area especially are using cannabis and still contributing to the community, still a big part. Like they're not the stereotypical, like most people aren't.
They aren't.
Most
the
people
drug
are
rug.
not the stereotypical like Cheech and Chong, you know, type. You know, it's the people out there using cannabis are very important to the community and doing a lot for the community.
Well, and on top of that too, Taralei, you go to, so the first time I really opened my eyes to is when I went to Collinsville the first time 3 or 4 years ago. Hell, it's longer than that now. That's wild. It's been so long.
Yeah, they went rec January 21st, 2020.
Yeah,
that's,
so 3 or 4 years now.
4 years.
And whenever, And, you know, whenever I was sitting there, because I just wanted to go for the experience, I thought, what the hell? This is the first time we've been able to do this. So I'm in there, and I swear to you, your business community was in that dispensary. It was It was not, because the thing is, you walk in there, I saw every suit jacket color in the world. I saw everyone. It was like they just got off of work or went from a lunch meeting. It's not this whole like, oh, it's the drug head that's in the basement playing, you know, video games. It's not.
No,
it's just not.
And I worked at Collinsville for a long time in 2020, and that was, you know, you walk in and it's like an Apple store.
Yes,
like
it
with
really
all the
was.
screens, all the, you know, it's so fancy, all the wood touches, and like, you know, that, and I think that's one of the things within the legal cannabis industry, especially, a lot of the companies are like trying to make it so that everyone will feel comfortable if they go in.
It's true. And on top of that, not to cut you off, but now I'm stumbling on to something here. Yeah. Dispensaries are expensive. Okay, I'm sorry. People are paying way too much for product right now, and you can compare numbers to other states. But here's where my issue comes in, is where you have people that can't afford this, and they know that cannabis is still legal in the state only if you play by their rules and utilize, you know, the dispensary. So the people that can't afford it are still in the same guidelines as they were before cannabis was legal. You know, there's something that people don't understand about that's the way it works.
And I think that's one of the hard things too about it right now, is that like I can't afford the dispensaries.
Right.
I am very much personally, and like maybe this is I don't know, I'm very much still support your local plug.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
that's me personally. Especially,
Well, you can't afford it, and that's
yeah,
the thing.
I can't
and that's
afford
just the
it.
bottom line.
But it's, you know, also just, I don't think the Illinois cannabis industry itself,
Mm-hmm.
like that's like, I love when I go out west, going to the dispensaries out there and stuff. It's such a different experience.
Not
It is a
militarized.
very different experience. Here, it's still so heavily regulated. It is still like not only how expensive it is, like when I went to San Francisco in September, I walked into a dispensary there and it completely different experience. You know, it's all on shelves. You can walk around, you can handle the boxes, you can read the labels. In Illinois, you know, you still are not allowed to handle the package even once you've bought it until you've left dispensary property.
And technically,
that is the
when
law.
you get home, you
Yeah.
can't even open it in your car.
Yeah, you can't even open it in your car.
you
You're
can't.
supposed to wait until you are home inside. Like, that is the law. And of course, a lot of people don't.
And I'll tell you this
Give
for
a
a
shit
fact,
about that,
because
but-
well, no,
sorry.
Tara, no, you're fine. Well, the thing is, I know for a fact, is someone got arrested on the bus in Collinsville because they opened their bag on the bus leaving the store, and they
Yep.
were arrested. I
Yep.
watched them get. Now I don't know if they got taken to jail, but they got put in handcuffs for a few minutes.
That's why for the first couple years, at least, most people were like, most dispensaries were stapling your bag shut.
They still do it. Some.
Yeah, I know they still do it some. There have been a couple instances where they've just been like, get out. Like, okay.
So let's get back to this because I have another interview. I forgot. So photo contest. When is this happening? How do we get a part of it?
So yeah, it's not a contest. It's just.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's
Yeah.
okay. So I am wanting to find people, especially recognizable faces, you know, but anyone really in the Riverbend, St. Louis area, who contribute, you know, to the community at some level, whether, you know, whatever that means to you.
Yeah.
Whether it's your job, something, you know, a business you own, a project you're working on. If you use cannabis, please reach out to me. I would love to do a photo shoot with you. What I'm doing is 2 sessions. So I'm starting with an interview just to talk to you about your relationship with cannabis, and kind of figure out how I want to help portray that within a photo shoot. And then we'll do a photo shoot, smoking, or I would love to find people who would rather do edibles during the shoot, dabs, you know, whatever, you know, it doesn't have to be smoking a joint or a bowl, however you consume, even if it's other cannabinoids. But also too, so I know a lot of people still, like, this is the whole point of this is to end the stigma. But I think an important part of that to show will be the people who are scared to speak up about this because they're worried about losing business or something. I have friends who have said, I would really love to participate, but I'm worried it will take away from my business because, like, either I work with kids and people would be concerned, even though I'm not smoking it at work.
Right.
But so I want to be sure to tell people, like, if this is something you're at all interested in, if this is something you at all would like to help with, I think this is a small, you know, way that you're not going to have to spend money or anything to help out. Just let me take your photo. But if you're at all concerned about that, I have a lot of great ideas to do photo shoots
around it.
where you would be kept anonymous. So please don't feel free. Please don't be scared to reach out to me. I'm willing to work with everyone. Keep your name and your face hidden, you know, whatever we need to do. But I want to make this project happen. However many photos I can get, I'm going to be displaying some of them on 420 at the Conservatory. So I don't have a whole lot of info I can release about this yet, but I am Fairy Herb Mother. That's my, and
True.
that will be, so Fairy Herb Mother will be presenting a show at the Conservatory on April 20th this year. So to celebrate 420, it's going to be a little fundraiser. It's going to be really cool, all about ending the stigma and celebrating cannabis in the best way we can within the legalities
Isn't
of
it
Illinois.
so funny?
But
It's just so fun. Now that
No.
you said that, you made a great argument, and I'm not one to make arguments on this. I feel like I don't argue over something that's obvious. I just refuse to. I have too much things to do in the day to worry about it.
Feel ya.
And but what I think's hilarious is you go out, and no matter if you're in Alton, Godfrey, New Jersey, Wisconsin, you go out 9 times out of 10, we've all seen our teacher out having a glass of wine, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But
right.
What's amazing to me is that the fact that we can go, oh, well, that's okay that you're half, turned over at the bar, but God forbid if we find out you smoked a joint. And that's where my issue is with this.
Yep.
It's like, for all the, the issues that come with alcohol, and this town knows all about the issues that alcohol can cause, and this region can, you think that we'd finally go, are we really being that ridiculous over this? And we are in this town. It still is there. And people are still being criticized, and they're still being judged. And my thought is, who cares? If you want to be happy doing what makes you happy, I can't stop you from doing it. I don't want to be happy. So do unto others, but don't tell me how to live my life.
Right. The best way to reach out to me, probably shoot me an email. It's fairyherbmother@gmail.com. FAIRYHERBMOTHER@gmail.com. That's you can also find me. So I've got a TNG photography page set up on Facebook. You can reach out to me through that. And that's where on Facebook, I'll be sharing some of the photos as I take them and keeping people updated. You can also, I'm on Instagram as Fairy Herb Mother. I think there's an underscore between Fairy and Herb Mother. So lots of ways you can reach out to me. I almost always hang out at the Conservatory. You can find me there if you are not going to remember this email and everything I've listed.
We'll link the email in the on-demand. We'll just take care of that for everybody. I'm going to throw your email in the on-demand video, and you guys can reach out and talk to Taralei there.
Yeah. So just reach out to me, and really, this is important to me. I think that, especially because my goal is to keep expanding with what I'm doing for cannabis education in media and everything. And, I think it's important then to continue working to end the stigma and promote things like the Last Prisoner Project, make sure that while we utilize and enjoy this plant, that we aren't forgetting, all the changes that need to be made for all the people who have been affected for this.
You're right. And I think this is a great way to do it, because once you get people in just interested about it, you can start really talking about it. Because people don't really, they think, because we're told the big four kind of have their headlines and we read through them, that's great, we're moving on. But when you realize there's not actually any steps being taken, it's just been blanket statements and kind of buzzwords, and then we move on towards the next day. That's what's happened.
Right.
And so I hope you really do achieve this. And I think you will. I really do think you will.
Thanks.
And I think you're going to be very surprised if you stop by the Conservatory on the 20th of April and you realize, oh my goodness, how many pot smokers are there? No, okay. Anyway, 10:43, a little bit of change. We'll take a quick break. Taralei, always appreciate talking to you.
It's always a good time, CJ.
We'll be talking with Shannon Stelling, home builders, remodelers of the Metro East Association, as we are gearing up for the Home Expo 2024. Quick break. We'll come right back with more after this.